Hi guys, it's super early in the morning, and I I feel like I need to bring you guys along on my journey. Otherwise, I feel like continuity is going to be lost, in the sense that I will have advanced so much that it's going to be hard to explain afterwards everything that's been happening, or like I won't be able to explain because I will have just moved so far from the previous step, or where I previously was last talking to you, and the new transition will feel so normal that I will have forgotten what happened, basically. So there's a lot going on, there's a lot happening. It's super early morning, well, not as much anymore, it's like 6 a.m. or something now, but I've been awake since at least 5 or earlier. And this is such an amazing time. I feel like I'm repeating myself a little bit, but it's probably fine because it's worth repeating that this can be such a powerful time where there's such clarity, and just whatever I was thinking about yesterday and the things that I was considering yesterday, wondering about the questions I was asking, like the morning energy, this drifting from the sleep state into the beginning of the waking world is so filled with answers and with just everything that's been asked for, kind of in mind form, or like it's like soft snow falling down onto our consciousness. And if we like look gently and feel gently and pay attention, then we just notice it touching us and falling down on the like skin of our consciousness, and we can like ingest that or let that like melt into us and transfer that knowledge and transfer that information and a state of being. That's amazing. So this is like the meta level, in the sense that I'm reflecting about what's currently happening. I feel like I don't even know where to start in terms of telling you about the actual transformations that are happening, the actual changes to both my reality and my consciousness that are happening, because I feel like, yes, this is like I wanna show an awakening process, basically. That is a big part of my intention in sharing this. I want to show what it can look like to like be transformed in real time. Basically, like, just what does it look like? And maybe it's not necessary it's not necessary for everyone's awakening process to be able to see that, but things like these are certainly very helpful to like bring the mind along, but also to give an example of how it feels, really how it feels, how it can feel, or like let's say like the template energy is going to be very similar in many awakening processes. So that if you can feel the energy here, you might be able to tell better which of your own processes are just part of your own awakening, and how to feel them, how to notice them, how to like move through them with grace and ease and yeah, and power. So on to the actual meat, the actual content, the meat of the fruit of consciousness and our growth. So mostly I've just been following this sharing process, meaning I was just sharing with others from the heart what's going on for me, what's alive in every moment, how I feel about this and that. And I feel like what this has done for me is, and what this continues to do for me, is to, first of all, get me in that space, get me in that heart-centered space where I just feel, and I can feel my mind also being present. It's not that I am disallowing maybe my mind, and people call it ego and are a little mean to the ego. I don't really believe in that. I don't feel like that's our true nature. Yeah, if you have a lot of negative beliefs and stuff like that and fears, okay. I mean, people call that ego then because it's kind of makes you uncomfortable, and it's maybe something bad in in some sense we could say. But really, the mind is a beautiful tool. It is such an amazing tool and a gift to us. We just have to learn to, clean it up a little and then use it appropriately. And I feel like my mind is also very present with me, even while I'm, let's say, changing my internal regime or form of organization from an absolute monarchy of the mind to something like a powerful democracy between all levels and layers of my being, which includes, and I don't know how I would put it, and it's maybe not that important, but like for sure the heart, the intuition, the inner self, not just the part. Yeah, actually that's how I would put it. In some teachings it's a lot about, like, you have these many different chakras and they're assigned different kinds of attributes and qualities. And I don't actually feel like that's really the case. I mean, maybe that's the mechanics of the of our construct of the body and all of the kind of different bodies that we have, so to speak, that form the overall body or overall vehicle. Yeah, maybe that's part of how that works, the mechanics of that. That's fine. But for my day to day, for how I feel, for how I'm actually working with this vehicle and within this system and within reality, I feel like there's really two instances here. One is my physical personality construct, meaning like everything involving the vehicle, and the physical layers, we could say, those that we know about and those that we don't really know about or just have a glimpse of, like any like psychic or layers or yeah, things that like we can't really explain yet with science and stuff like that, but that are very much physical, that are there, where effects happen, like remote feeling, like being really connected to a person, and being able to sense and feel the same things over any distance, for example. Like telepathy or telepathy, whatever you want to call that, as one example. So there is this physical layer of me, my personality construct in this world. And then there's like the inner self of me. Some people might call it soul or something, but the part that whatever comes forth into this particular reality, into this physicalness, and forms the physical layers, but they consist of this whatever material, this consciousness. And the most useful way for me to name this and to work with this is by calling it the inner self or higher self. But inner is really much better because that already contains the proper direction of where I need to go in order to feel that. And mostly it's really, now I feel like I'm using a lot of words, but perhaps it's important to describe, I don't know. Really, this is the inner part of me. That's the direction that I'm going in. And the way I get there is more by feeling as opposed to thinking, where this thinking part is really a big, or maybe the major way to access and work with the physical system, though like movement and everything, just using the body is also really important to activate that in full. But then the inner part, really feeling into something where intuition comes from, and like the sense of connectedness comes from, that many people refer to as the heart, which is also a great symbol for accessing that layer of myself. And really, for me, it's really about the blending of these two, of the personality construct and mind, and then of the inner self and heart and intuition and soul, whatever you want to call it. Right. So I feel like this is what I've been doing. I've been activating this, my personal connection to my inner self, to what I truly am, to the part of me that forms my physical persona, through sharing. Because we had this wonderful practice at ISTA that really, this is one of the cores for me, core value propositions, if you will, of doing something like ISTA Level 1, because it really aims to put you in a state, they call it presence, and really it's like heart-centered, intuition-centered. It really makes you feel, activate all the layers of yourself, and just really be present from that, like really in the moment, really feeling yourself, your full self, like pointing towards the complete self, your like blended self of physical and soul or inner self. So I've been continuing to just stay in that process, stay in that presence, stay in that state, and sharing from that, which is maybe to some degree an excuse to stay in that space for a little longer, because it takes a little bit of time to formulate words, to find the words that I want to share with others about how I feel, what's going on inside of me. So that's been amazing. And what's been happening is that how do I condense this, or how do I, because I feel like there's so much there. How do I speak about this at a layer that is not too much info, but that brings you guys along? But yeah, whatever. I can't really figure this out with my mind, so I'm just sharing what I feel. And I feel like so much is happening at the same time in parallel. I am spending a lot more time thinking and feeling about and sharing about and topics that I really care about, that I'm really interested in. Like yesterday was channeling was very, very active, and I had some time to spend to find some questions that really mattered to me. And more or less went through a process of channeling to answer them all for myself within the span of just a few minutes effectively, and getting a lot of like sense and intuition and direction about where I might want to take these things, and thoughts are coming, ideas are coming, things just start forming inside of myself. So, and like I notice all kinds of things that I probably want to do, things that I want to do in this world, and it's amazing, it's brilliant, and all of that is coming really from within. I can feel all of that. Yeah, I don't feel like I'm ready to talk about those things necessarily, but things are forming that I was dreaming about maybe for years, just fantasizing idly here and there. But now it really feels like with this process and a little bit of focus on topics that are of deep interest to me, things just start unfolding, things just start happening. It's amazing. Yeah, I feel really great about being in this world at the moment. I feel a lot of appreciation for this world, for this reality, how it's set up, how it works, that I have a lot of understanding about all of it, and that I'm invited to move around in it and play and create whatever I want. I feel so much, I don't know, like sense of possibility maybe, or like I feel I feel almost infinite. I feel like we are so vast. We have such a vastness of inner resources that we can truly, I mean, it sounds like things that other people say, but that we can actually do or create or yeah, just I wish I could find words that are more my own, but create anything we like, in the sense that yeah, like this idea of abundance versus limitation, or this is something that I think about frequently, like the economy, let's say, and the things we create and the value we create and what we bring into this world. And like, I don't know, maybe also this idea of, can you create something from nothing, in a sense, right? Because sometimes people say that you can't like create something from nothing, but I feel like thinking about economic value of, let's say, my work, of things I do, of things we all do. And at the moment, I just really feel like we have so much inside of ourselves. There is such huge potential and so much we can bring and create and really flow into this world. It's insane. It's mind boggling to think about that, to ever think that one might not be enough for what one does, might not be enough for, that there ever needed to be any fear that perhaps you cannot or I cannot do enough to, let's say, earn a certain amount of money, or which to me just represents a certain amount of value that you can or I can provide to this world or bring to this world, or something I can make and that's really valuable to others. I just feel this vast potential inside of me, this like I'm overflowing with ideas about everything that I say yes to effectively. And I also had some conversations yesterday, mostly with my partner, about ideas, what they are to me, what they represent to me, or like how they function, how they come to me, how I work with them. This is a whole other topic that I've been able to express some things so much more clearly than ever before, that I feel so much more clearly than before. And it's just fantastic. It's like they're alive and they want to like come to us and like talk to us and bring themselves, and they're these magnificent, huge, amazing beings, like collective creation, yeah, like creations of the collective of the human consciousness and other consciousnesses, and they just want to pour through us into this world. And there's an infinite number of them, and they just really want to come and play, and they truly manifest the desires that people have, that we all have, and like any one of us can decide to be this like pillar or this channel through which any number of these ideas can flow into this world. And that's going to create such richness, such wealth of everything, that it's mind-boggling to consider ever like being poor or something. We are so rich, and like we can use our vehicles in such ways that it's, I don't know, like my mind absolutely cannot grasp at all like the potential that we have. It's, yeah, even mind-boggling is just too weak of a word. And this is just damn cool to really feel that. I feel like this is the first time that I truly feel the potential that the human construct, the human mind and inner self overall system really has, and the true appeal that this has, and what it means and what can be done with it. This is just amazing. And yeah, I also feel that the rate of progress at the moment that I am going at is about as high as during the ISTA level 1 intensive workshop, which is, for most people, is very intense, and so much is happening, so many inner shifts and outer shifts then as well. And for me it was a little slower because I had done a lot of personal development work. But now what I'm experiencing is actually comparable to that rate of an intensive experience, a condensed or compressed, but not in a negative way, but yeah, condensed, really enjoyable, really meaningful growth and expansion experience. Like life is actually moving within me and outside of me right now at a pace that I really fucking enjoy. So good to acknowledge that. Amazing. So thank you to all of you amazing beings for being part of my journey, for inviting and allowing the sharing and the connection and the focusing on various things and listening and giving feedback and responding and sharing from your side. I appreciate that so much. So I invite any and all of you to keep doing that, to do more of that, to start doing that, to learn how to do that, to join me in that. Yeah, really finding your heart space, or like, I really want to say like inner marriage of your physical self with your inner self, with your soul, whatever you want to call it, and really listen and speak and focus from that place, and see what happens. And I am always happy to hear, to listen to, not just happy, I'm eager, I'm curious. I want to know what's inside of you as much as I want to know what's inside of me, what's coming forth from me as well as what's coming forth from you, like what you want to draw in, what you really want to represent, who you came to be. I'm super interested in that. So anytime you might feel the desire or the curiosity about sharing from that kind of place, or learning how to do that, talk to me from the heart as much as you can. Thank you guys. Have an amazing day, or whatever might be the interval until we next hear from each other again. Bye. Love you all.